Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. This is a topic I really don't want to touch because it involves more speculation than fact right now. But I'm getting inundated with questions about injured Bucs wide receiver Chris Godwin Jr. What's really going on with his injury? When will he return? I'm going to reveal what I know and also what I don't know about Chris Godwin's setback in his return to action from his broken ankle and dislocated ankle in today's Pewter Pulse. But first, a reminder, hit the thumbs up button on this video, give it a like, also leave a comment. Love reading your comments. Doing those two things helps us with the YouTube algorithm, gets our videos out there in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you. Make sure you head over to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, for more Bucs video content. Hit subscribe. We're on the way to 22,000 subscribers. Okay, Chris Godwin Jr. is still not practicing for the Buccaneers, and I'm getting concerned about this fibula injury of his. Let's go over what we know right now. Chris Godwin Jr. broke and dislocated his ankle in week 7 in that loss to the Ravens on October 21st, 2024, and he returned to action 11 months later on September 28th in week 4 against the Eagles. Godwin has only played in 2 games this year, playing 58 snaps versus the Eagles and then 47 snaps versus the Seahawks in the next week. In each game, he has not looked like Chris Godwin. He has caught 3 passes for 26 yards in each of those games, and he's not looked like the receiver of old. Not that that was expected right out of the gate. It was just good to get Chris back on the field. But Godwin didn't finish the Seahawks game, and he limped off after playing 47 snaps. Bucs head coach Todd Bowles discussed the injury the next week, and I quote, "It's a different part of his fibula, a different part of the leg. He is week to week with that one," end quote. Now, Godwin went on to miss the games against the 49ers, Lions, and Saints, and he's going to miss the Patriots game after the bye. Typically, when teams know a player is going to miss at least 4 games, well, they put him on injured reserve because that frees up a roster spot. And 4 games is the minimum number of games that a player has to miss to be on injured reserve and then return, just like the Bucs did with right tackle Luke Goedeke. Goedeke was put on injured reserve prior to week 3 and actually missed 6 games before his expected return on Sunday against the Patriots. So the fact that the Bucs didn't put Godwin on injured reserve maybe was a good sign. It's a sign that the team is hopeful he can truly overcome the pain in his fibula and return sooner rather than later. It just hasn't happened yet. Bowles didn't really have an update this week on Godwin's progress after the bye week other than to say, and I quote, "Everybody is running. It's just a matter of them getting ready to play," end quote. Now, to be fair, Bowles was talking about both Godwin and injured running back Bucky Irving, who's trying to come back from foot and shoulder injuries that he suffered in week 4 against Philadelphia. Running, that's a good sign. But running doesn't necessarily mean accelerating out of breaks to gain separation from defensive backs, and doesn't mean making hard cuts on a surgically repaired ankle either. I don't want to bet against Chris Godwin Jr. I don't. He has worked diligently to come back from a serious ACL injury at the end of the 2021 season to post back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2022 and 2023. Godwin was having a career year last season and a contract year before his ankle injury. The Bucs bet that Godwin would be able to overcome this injury, and they rewarded him with a 3-year, $66 million contract extension this past offseason. Now, it's truly a gamble, and I'm growing concerned that it's not going to pay off. At $22 million per year, the Bucs were banking on Godwin not only returning to action this year, but returning to form as a 1,000-yard receiver. Now, maybe not a 1,000-yard receiver this year, but maybe showing enough progress to where that becomes a reality in 2026. But now his return to action this year is in question, and his return to form is seriously in doubt. Godwin will be missing his 4th game due to pain in his fibula, that same fibula that has plates and screws down by his surgically repaired ankle. And he's 29 years old. He's not 26 like he was when he returned from his ACL injury several years ago. Now, there have been some players that have come back from this type of injury before to some degree. including running back Cam Akers, who had a modest NFL career at best, and Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. But as a quarterback, he doesn't run and cut and accelerate on that ankle like a wide receiver does. Now, former Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. was 25 when he suffered a very similar broken ankle injury and came back to post over 1,000 yards in each of the next two seasons in 2018 and 2019. But after scoring 12 touchdowns and 13 touchdowns and 10 touchdowns in his first 3 years in the league, well, Beckham only scored 6 touchdowns upon his return and then 4 touchdowns in that second 1,000-yard season. And by age 28, well, those injuries had caught up to him, and Beckham has been a shell of his former self ever since, not even reaching 600 yards receiving since the 2020 season. And Godwin turns 30 in March. We all want Chris Godwin Jr. to get back to action and somehow make it all the way back and return to form. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. Look at former Bucs Pro Bowl center Ryan Jensen. He tried to come back from a devastating knee injury, and that knee just wouldn't cooperate, and he had to prematurely retire. And I remember when Mike Allstott, the legendary fullback, the Bucs Ring of Honor member, couldn't make it back from a neck injury in training camp in 2007, and he had to retire. I hope that's not the case with Chris Godwin. But this is his second setback that he's had as it relates to this injury. The first one was back when he had to have a second surgery to clean up his ankle earlier in the offseason. The fact that when I probe my multiple sources at One Buck Place about Godwin and I hear nothing, crickets, well, that's concerning. Usually I'll get some off-the-record text or comment about the team not being worried or it's still early, some sort of reassurance with these things. Not this time, because this is a very serious injury, and the team knows it. Former Bucs inside linebacker Kendall Beckwith, a third-round pick in 2017, suffered a broken ankle in a car accident in the 2018 offseason, and that cost him the entire 2018 season and ultimately his career. He was forced to retire in 2019 when he couldn't make it back from a similar broken ankle injury. Back in 2007, former Bucs wide receiver Paris Warren had 15 catches for 191 yards and 4 touchdowns to lead the NFL in the preseason that year. He would have made the 53-man roster, but he broke his ankle in the preseason finale in a very similar manner that Godwin did. Now, Warren was 25 back when that happened and missed the entire 2007 season. And after a failed comeback, Warren was out of the league after the next year in 2008, and his career was over. This year, we've seen similar devastating ankle injuries to both 49ers linebacker Fred Warner, and that happened right here in Tampa Bay, as well as Giants running back Cam Skattebo. Both have gruesome injuries, and we hope the best for their recovery. Warner will turn 29 later this month in November, and Skattebo will turn 24 in February. And he might have a better chance at a more full recovery because of his age. I really hope I'm wrong about this. I hope Chris Godwin Jr. returns to practice next week, gets over this injury, and proves me and every other person that's starting to doubt him wrong. I want that to happen. But I don't have a good feeling about this. Like we saw with Ryan Jensen's recovery, we don't always get what we want. In case you're wondering, Godwin's $22 million base salary next year is fully guaranteed. And the team would be staring at a $49 million salary cap hit if Godwin can't make it back from this injury and doesn't suit up again. Of course, that's the worst case scenario, and I don't want that to happen. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that's not the case for Chris Godwin Jr. Nobody deserves to have their career end that way, especially not this great guy and this great player. Godwin deserves the best, and let's hope that he can achieve that, which is getting back out on the field sooner rather than later and eventually returning to form. But I'm starting to doubt. One thing that I don't doubt is you Buccaneer fans. You always come through for us. We're on the way to 22,000 subscribers to our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button when you check out our video content over there. Also, follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report, and visit pewterreport.com for all of your Bucs game day coverage, as well as all the injury news, roster moves, transactions, and analysis. It's all there at pewterreport.com. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.